Every morning, millions of workers arrive at job sites across the country. Construction crews, maintenance teams, delivery drivers, and facility workers all share something in common. Beyond their hard hats and steel-toed boots, they face a danger that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. This isn't about heavy machinery or falling objects. It's about something far more subtle, yet equally dangerous. Today, we're revealing the hidden risk that affects nearly every workplace, and more importantly, how you can protect yourself and your team. Picture this. It's a typical Tuesday morning at a construction site. The crew arrives early, ready to tackle the day's tasks. The weather forecast shows clear skies and temperatures climbing into the upper 80s. Everyone's focused on meeting deadlines, coordinating tasks, and maintaining productivity. But there's an invisible threat building throughout the day, one that doesn't announce itself with warning sirens or flashing lights. The hidden risk we're talking about is heat-related illness, and it's far more common and dangerous than most people realize. According to workplace safety data, thousands of workers experience heat-related complications every year, and these incidents can happen faster than you might think. Why this risk goes unnoticed? Heat illness is particularly dangerous because it creeps up gradually. Unlike a trip hazard or an unstable ladder, which present obvious dangers, heat stress develops over hours. Workers often don't recognize the early warning signs in themselves or their colleagues. They push through discomfort, thinking they just need to finish one more task or make it to the next break. The workplace culture itself sometimes contributes to this problem. There's often pressure to maintain productivity, meet deadlines, and prove toughness. Taking breaks or asking for water might be seen as weakness. This mindset can turn a preventable situation into a serious medical emergency. Additionally, many workers underestimate how quickly conditions can become dangerous. It's not just about extreme temperatures. Humidity, physical exertion, protective equipment, and individual health factors all combine to create risk. Someone might have worked in heat safely for years, then suddenly find themselves in trouble because conditions align differently on a particular day. Heat-related illness operates on a spectrum. It starts with minor symptoms that are easy to dismiss. Feeling tired, having a headache, or experiencing mild cramps. These early signs are your body's warning system, telling you that your cooling mechanisms are being overwhelmed. If these early warnings are ignored, the condition progresses. Workers might experience dizziness, nausea, or confusion. Their skin might become cold and clammy despite the heat. They might stop sweating altogether, which is actually a critical warning sign that the body's cooling system has shut down. At the most severe level, this becomes a life-threatening medical emergency. The body's core temperature rises to dangerous levels, affecting organ function and brain activity. Response time becomes critical, and permanent consequences become possible. The progression can happen surprisingly fast, especially when multiple risk factors combine. A worker might feel fine at lunch and be in serious trouble by mid. The contributing factors, several factors, make certain situations particularly risky. Understanding these helps identify when extra caution is needed. Temperature and humidity create the foundation of risk. When humidity is high, sweat doesn't evaporate efficiently, making it harder for the body to cool itself. A day that's 90 degrees with high humidity can be more dangerous than one that's 100 degrees with low humidity. Physical exertion multiplies the risk significantly. The harder someone works, the more heat their body generates internally. This internal heat combines with external temperatures, creating a double burden on the body's cooling system. Protective equipment and clothing present an interesting challenge. Safety gear is absolutely necessary for many jobs, but items like chemical-resistant suits, thick work pants, or multiple layers trap heat against the body. Workers need this protection, but it increases heat stress risk. Individual factors matter tremendously. Age, fitness level, medications, previous heat illness, and underlying health conditions all affect how someone handles heat exposure. Someone who handled heat work fine last summer might struggle this year due to a new medication or health change. Acclimatization is crucial but often overlooked. Bodies adapt to heat exposure over time, typically taking 1 to 2 weeks of gradual exposure. The first hot days of the season are particularly dangerous because workers have unbuilt up this adaptation yet. Similarly, workers returning from vacation or sick leave need time to Let's look at how this plays out in actual workplace situations without focusing on negative outcomes. A roofing crew starts work at 7 in the morning. The temperature is comfortable, so they work at their normal pace. By noon, temperatures have climbed significantly, but the crew is focused on finishing the section they're working on. They're all experienced workers who've been in heat before. However, one crew member took allergy medication that morning, which affects the body's cooling response. Another had a stomach illness over the weekend and isn't fully hydrated. A third is covering an extra shift because someone called in. These factors combine to create elevated risk. In a warehouse setting, workers move continuously between climate-controlled areas and loading docks exposed to outside heat. This constant temperature change doesn't allow bodies to adapt properly. Workers might not even realize how much they're re-exerting themselves because they get periodic relief when returning inside. Road construction crews face reflected heat from asphalt, which can make the actual temperature at ground level much higher than the official forecast. The dark surfaces absorb and radiate heat, creating a microclimate that's significantly hotter than surrounding areas. The good news is that heat-related illness is almost entirely preventable when proper measures are in place. Prevention requires a multi-layered approach involving employers, supervisors, and workers themselves. Hydration forms the foundation of prevention. Workers should drink water regularly throughout the day, not just when they feel thirsty. Thirst is actually a late indicator of dehydration. The general recommendation is to drink water every 15 to 20 minutes during heat exposure, even if you don't feel thirsty. Scheduled breaks in shaded or air-conditioned areas give bodies time to cool down. These shouldn't be optional or something workers need to request. They should be built into the work schedule with longer and more frequent breaks as conditions worsen. Work-rest ratios should adjust based on conditions. On the hottest days, this might mean working for 45 minutes and resting for 15, or even more conservative ratios for the most intense work. Acclimatization programs help new workers and those returning from time off adapt gradually. This might involve shorter shifts or lighter duties for the first week or two of heat exposure. Training ensures everyone recognizes warning signs in themselves and others. Workers should know what symptoms to watch for and feel empowered to speak up without fear of consequences. Supervisors play a critical role in monitoring conditions and worker status. They should be checking on crews regularly, watching for behavioral changes that might indicate developing problems, and enforcing break schedules even when workers resist. One of the most effective prevention strategies is the buddy system. Workers pair up and monitor each other throughout the day. This works because people often don't recognize changes in their own condition, but a partner can spot concerning signs. Someone who's becoming confused or uncoordinated might not realize it themselves, but their buddy will notice. The buddy system also creates accountability. It's easier to skip a water break or push through discomfort when you're alone. When someone else is watching and depending on you to reciprocate that monitoring, you're more likely to follow safety protocols. Creating a culture of safety. Ultimately, preventing heat-related illness requires a workplace culture that prioritizes health over productivity pressure. Workers need to feel comfortable speaking up about symptoms without fear of being seen as weak or uncompetent. Supervisors need to model good behavior by taking their own breaks and staying hydrated visibly. Management must provide adequate resources, accessible water, shaded rest areas, and scheduling flexibility for hot days. They should track weather forecasts and adjust work plans proactively rather than reactively. Conclusion: the hidden risk on almost every job site is hidden because it is rare or impossible to detect. It's hidden because it develops gradually, gets dismissed easily, and often goes unrecognized until symptoms become severe. Heat-related illness doesn't have to be mysterious or inevitable. With proper education, planning, and a commitment to prevention, every worker can finish their shift safely, no matter how high the temperature climbs. The key is recognizing that this silent threat deserves the same attention and respect as any obvious hazard. By staying informed, staying hydrated, and watching out for each other, we can keep this hidden risk from becoming a real danger.